All right, welcome back to Studio D. I'm Warren Wright, and I'm joined with best-selling author Akshay Nanavati. Mr. Nanavati, thank you for joining us. Sure do appreciate it. I want to ask you, you're here to talk to us about fear. Explain to me how this concept is so overwhelming for people and the help that you can provide.
Yeah, Oprah Winfrey once said that the thing you fear most has no power. Your fear of it is what has the power. And fear has the power to break us or to build us into something stronger. People perceive it as a negative thing, but it's really not. And that's what I want to help people do, harness that emotion and leverage it to become their greatest version of themselves.
So it's not something to be like, I think when people get afraid, they just kind of shut down, right? Yeah. They close in. And what you're saying is, wait a minute, fear is like a signal, like, hey, take a different approach.
Exactly. I was in the Marines, I've climbed mountains in the Himalayas, I've skied across polar ice caps, and the greatest things in my life have all terrified me. But that's why I've pursued them, is because they were scary. So fear is really a good thing. It's not something to run away from. Okay, so you obviously have a more inclined disposition to face your fears. What about the people that don't? They do shut down. What are tips for them? So the biggest mistake that they originally make is actually avoiding the fear, is perceiving it as a negative emotion. As long as you choose to harness it and say, okay, let me make this fear work for me, it actually will work for you. It'll change the biology in your brain. And the second biggest mistake that people make when they're afraid is not viewing their goal, not keeping the eye on their goal. There has to be some reason why you're working through your fear. It's not just about being paralyzed. What's the thing waiting for you on the other side of your fears?
So can you give me an example of something like that?
Sure.
When you say like how to take that fear and say, oh, I need to think about the bigger picture here.
Sure. Take a look at what's happening right now in the country. I, as a U.S. Marine, am terrified seeing my country that I fought for so divided and so broken the way it is. So this is the time to use that fear. Adversity is a great opportunity. So this is the time to now say use that fear. So I've started a nonprofit foundation. My book is all, the profits are all going towards charity, and really charity towards uniting people in this country and bringing us together in a meaningful way.
I think what I hear you saying is take action. Don't let fear neutralize you. Take action. So, like for example, if someone's thinking like, I don't know if I'm doing well on my job, like I just want to make it more relatable for people. So like go talk to your boss and confront your fear and say, hey, can you give me some feedback? Or is that what you're talking about?
Exactly. One of the most important things you can do is visualize the obstacle you're facing. So in this case, okay, I'm nervous about my job. I'm not getting the promotion I wanted, or maybe I'm getting laid off soon. So visualize that obstacle you have to face and then go do it, and then take action. If you don't actually take action, nothing's going to happen, right? Action is the #1 thing that separates successful people from failure. So you've got to take action.
And you talked about biology. What did you mean by that? It affects your biology.
When you choose to harness the emotion of fear and stress or any of these seemingly negative emotion, it actually changes the neurons in your brain. It can increase dopamine in your brain, and fear is known to be a sort of a force of leverage. Public speaking, one of the greatest fears people have. And they've done studies that show when people say I'm excited, instead of saying I'm calm and trying to get rid of the fear, they actually perform better because they're making that fear work for them, and the dopamine is increased. It increases your energy. You just perform better in every way.
And then you actually feel better, and it's less stressful on your body too.
It reduces cortisol, the stress hormone, and increases that dopamine.
Akshay Nanavati, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And so we'll have you more later on. We're going to talk about some more stuff there.
Sounds good.
So guys, what's going on?
Great stuff. That I was talking about to him in the green room, really fascinating. I've always felt that women in particular fear success more than failure.
Wow.
That's something that's a hallmark of women.
They fear success more than failure.
Yes.
Wow, that's yeah, right. Mind blown, right?
But it's great information.
I love the idea of taking your fears and harnessing them to